You know, they say that imitation is the finest form of flattery, and in the world of music, that phrase is very much the benchmark of what most bands do. I'm not too proud to admit that a lot of the bands that I listen to sound the same, or a bit similar at least, to other bands that I listen to. But there are very few cases where a band gets so compared to another band that they get accused of just being straight up rip-offs. The band that I'm covering for this episode is one such case. This time it's Airbourne, a hard rock band that hail from Australia, have a pair of brothers as band members, and are known for their energetic live performances and brilliant guitar work and just great instrumentals all in all. Also featuring gang vocals in the choruses that make it sound like they're shouting. Does that sound like anybody you know? All joking aside, I do quite enjoy the band. It took me a long time to fully appreciate them, but when you listen through a band's entire work, you grow to like them just that little bit more. So with all that said, let's get this on like Donkey Kong. This is episode 5 of Backtracking, Airbourne. So we start with the band's debut full-length album, Running Wild, released in 2007. It marks a really good start for the band, and creates the formula that would be both prevalent and prominent in all of the band's future works. It's where I first got started with the band too, as I'm sure many people did, as I heard the song Too Much Too Young Too Fast, which is a song about one of the band's main subjects, which is drinking. But there's few mentions of it in the song, except for mostly the chorus. In essence, the majority of it is about not giving a damn about the politics of things that go behind the scenes, which is just the attitude that the band should carry. It fits them really well, and sure, there are songs about sex, getting drunk, and partying on the album, but the most important thing about the album is that it's about having fun, which is very much the MO of the band themselves. The guitar work of lead vocalist Jarl O'Keefe is one of the higher points of the album, if not the badass gang vocals and hard-hitting drums, courtesy of Jarl's brother, Ryan. It's an impressive debut, and with great songs like Blackjack, Diamond in the Rough, Too Much Too Young Too Fast on the title track, it's worth a few listens. We move on from that to their second album, No Guts No Glory. There's really not a whole lot I can say about this album without repeating myself when it comes to Running Wild. It probably is their least memorable work, as, while a lot of their albums and songs sound the same, this one just has that feel of an add-on back to Running Wild. Having said all that, this album is a bit more mature in some places, with songs like No Way But the Hard Way, Bottom of the Well, Get Busy Living, and In and Over Till It's Over being good examples of that. It's nice to see them breaking away from their typical blondes, boobs, and beer style of songs, but as good as the songs are, they don't save the whole album. Of course, Blonde, Bad and Beautiful itself isn't a bad song, but it still doesn't change the fact that No Guts No Glory just feels like Running Wild, except with a different album cover and title. And yet, we move on from their most mediocre work to their best work in their third studio album, Black Dog Barking. Even the title is just cool. Also, the cover art is the first one to not feature any band members on it, which is kind of a bonus. In terms of lyricism, it's a little bit different from the band's usual fare. It feels like there's actually more maturity and thought put into the songwriting, and there's more seriousness to it. But it's kind of weird to have that seriousness, because at the same time, this album sounds like the most fun that the band has ever had, and will ever have, probably. You can tell that Jarl O'Keefe is having a blast belting out the choruses of songs like No One Fits Me Better Than You, Back in the Game, Live It Up, and the album's closing title track, which itself is a stunning tune. In fact, I dare say that Back in the Game was the perfect statement for the band. They had been gone along well, there's 3 years between each of the album's releases, by the way, band's album releases, and they needed to find that fire in the belly again. With Black Dog Barking, they barked some bit before the fire got lit brighter than ever, and the end result is a brilliant album by them. Give it a listen, I promise you won't be disappointed. And finally, we reach the band's most recent album with Breaking Out of Hell. In my opinion, it's a really good follow to Black Dog Barking. It's also a kind of unique standout among the band's work, as more of the album seems to have a fight song theme to it. That's not a bad thing in my opinion, and the album's first 3 title tracks embrace that theme, with the album's title track being one of the band's longest songs. Which brings me to my next point, I kind of want them to write more songs like that. Sure, they're long, but there isn't any ballads about it. It's all fast-paced all the way through, and it's very catchy. It's something they did with Black Dog Barking's opening track, Ready to Rock and Roll. I think that's the name of it, give me a moment. I was mostly right, it's Ready to Rock. So, yeah, it's just something I wish they would do more, since it's honestly a very good sound for them. Sure, with all the albums, including this one, there is the band's typical fire subjects like sex and drinking and partying and such, but it's become a huge part of the band by this point that there's really no point in criticizing it anymore. Just listen to Breaking Out of Hell and judge it for yourself, okay? And that's it for episode 5 of Backtracking, halfway through my first season. Who would have thought? Anyway, I hope that you all enjoyed it. If you feel so inclined to, then like, comment, share, subscribe, and so on and so forth. Obviously, that's if you want to, you don't have to, it's not a requirement. Yeah. I'll see you all in episode 6 for Stick to Your Guns, although I'm going to be taking a wee break because there's a couple of albums that have come out this year that I've missed out on and haven't listened to. So, yeah, I will do Stick to Your Guns next. Until then, Take care. I'll see you probably Friday for the next Ultimate Fire episode review. Peace.